Hi everyone, I'm Master Sergeant Matthew Sheley. I am with the 913th Airlift Group in Little Rock Air Force Base as a traditional reservist. In my civilian capacity, I'm a 21-year Arkansas State Trooper, and that's kind of where my story begins. I was a Marine at the time when I met my wife online. I flew to Dallas, Texas, where she was a college student, and began our courtship from there. I got out of the Marines and went home to be a trooper in August of 2000, and a couple of years later was finally able to marry this woman of my dreams who, once she graduated college from Texas. I brought her to Arkansas. 55 days after we got married, the Arkansas State Police dispatched me to a two-vehicle crash. When I arrived on the scene, I found my wife mangled up in a car, still alive. I spent 45 minutes in the car, laying in the car with her while they worked to free her from the debris. Ultimately, before we were able to get her out of the car, she died in my hands waiting on the helicopter to arrive. It was the lowest of the low for me. It was a time that I'd like to forget. Unfortunately, I will never forget it. The things that followed for me after this loss was depression, of course, the loss of a loved one. My finances were in shambles. I had honeymoon bills and college loans and medical bills and helicopter bills, and I had a lot of debt. Within 2 years, I was married and divorced. So I've been there. So the adversity that I've struggled is what a lot of people are going through to this day. So if I'm talking to you, there's help out there. There's ways to get help. So everyone will have triggers for them. In my case, there's a few triggers that still bring back the bad memories, if you will. For me, it's music. Lone Star Amazed was my wedding song. If I hear that, I was in my police car one day, I pulled off on the shoulder, sobbing to that song, and that's when I knew I needed to help. Certain sounds, Jaws of Life, because when she died, the Jaws of Life were in the background, cutting the car from around us. So everyone has triggers, and when you recognize those triggers, you can address those, and it'll help you move on. My downfall and where I struggled the most was I waited 5 years to get the help. I did not seek the help because I was a male, I was a Marine, and I was a state trooper. None of those things at that time, especially, were conducive for asking for help. I did not want to look or appear weak, so I marched on. 5 years later, I woke up one night in tears and realized that I needed some help. And for me, the help was a Google search for officers that were struggling with a loss like I had suffered. I met a guy by the name of Bobby Smith in Springfield, Missouri, who had been through similar circumstances. And had I not spent an entire day with him and learned how to deal with some of my issues, I don't know where I will be today. One incident that has really told me that I'm helping folks is this text message attached. Will kind of give you an overview of a airman that I helped as a first sergeant. I was spending a lot of time with him and trying to get him on the road of recovery. This is why resiliency is so important, and this is one of the reasons that I work so hard to get my story out. That is my goal, is to say if I'm speaking to you, then you probably could use a little help. For you, that may be the form of going to a first sergeant, that may be going to a trusted friend or a relative, or even doing a Google search like I did and finding help. There are lots of resources, and there's no shame in getting that help. Probably would not be where I am today in both careers if I had not got the help when I needed it the most. Just remember, for everyone out there, just remember, bad things happen to good people every day. It's how you respond to those bad things that happen in your life that are important. I'll have my contact information on the end of this. If I've touched a nerve, or if I feel like I can help you in any way, I'll be glad to talk to people on the phone. I'll be glad to respond to emails. Feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate your time.